Your spirit is active all the time. And what God is wanting most people to do is to realize that their spirit is functioning, doing the heavenly stuff all the time. So we can outwork the earthly stuff in a way without having to think about it, without having to plan it or program it or do any of that. So enjoying that state of rest is the key for everything. Jesus, when he was walking around, he was in a state of rest with the Father, and knowing the Father's heart. The Father didn't have to tell him specifically, do this, do this, do this, do this, or don't do this. He knew the Father's heart because they were in relationship. They were intimate. So when Jesus was walking around, the Father didn't say to him, oh, look out for people today to raise from the dead. Jesus came across, let's say, the widow of Nain's son, and then was moved by the compassion of the Father's heart to raise that person from the dead, because he knew it was what the Father was doing. But he didn't need a whole list of things to do. He just followed life. So in a sense, you don't have to be doing nothing to be being. Being is a state of consciousness and awareness. It's not a reflection of what you're actually doing physically. So you could physically go for a really nice long walk. You could be out in the countryside. You could be doing practical things. I love gardening. So I do a lot of gardening. And while I'm gardening, I'm so close to the Father because the Father planted gardens. So I feel close to him. Even though I'm actively doing something physically, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to do it in a way. It's something I enjoy doing, so I enjoy doing it. But I'm being me. So being me is a creative expression of like gardening. And I can be physically very active in that garden, but feel totally the pleasure of the Father's heart of being like him and being with him while I'm doing things. So it's not that I'm doing nothing. I'm just not driven to do something in a spiritual sense. So I don't have to, I'm going to spend 5 hours in meditation. I can be meditating and engaging with the Father's heart while I'm gardening, while I'm in my workshop, making some stuff out of wood, while I'm in a walk in the countryside, or when I'm just laying in the sun, just resting and relaxing and just enjoying being. All of those things are an expression of my being, even though physically I might be doing something. So in a sense, don't think you have to be doing nothing physically. What you'd want it to be is doing nothing driven spiritually, or doing something because you think you ought to, or doing something because that's what Christians do, and all of that stuff. That's not the thing. Duty and obligation is not what it is. But he wants you to enjoy life. His unconditional love for you enables you to realize that his joy is in you, so your joy can be full and overflowing. So that means rejoicing and being thankful and being grateful and expressing thanksgiving and gratitude in your attitude towards God, just because you do. I love thanking him. It's wonderful thanking him for all the wonderful things that are happening in my life, and for the fact that I've got a garden I can look after and the sun's shining, and then when it rains I can thank him because the ground needs watering. I have this attitude, which is an attitude of being and enjoying and fellowshipping, and then I'm in a place of peace. I'm not having to, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace in enjoying. And if he wants to share something with me, or he wants to show me something, or if he wants to take me somewhere, great. I'm available. He can do that anytime he wants me to do something. I'm active at night. I'm resting in the garden of my heart at night. My spirit's active. My spirit is active in multiple places at this point in time. Right now, in the realms of heaven, I don't need to be aware of what I'm doing, but I'm flowing from that realm. Everything I'm doing is contributing for me to be here and enjoy. Now, there are times when you're in life and you're around and you see something and you just know it's the Father's desire for you to be involved in that. Great. But if you're in a season where he's teaching you just to be, probably there are less of those occasions. But there may still be an occasion which you feel led, or you feel the compassion of God that moves you. That's great. So I would encourage you not to try and overanalyze everything, or not trying to, it feels weird sometimes to do nothing all day. You're not doing nothing all day. In fact, your spirit is very, very active all the time. And what you're doing is enjoying life. That is the normal, is to just be and be aware of the Father's presence in everything. He's with you wherever you are, whatever you're doing, he's with you. He wants you to enjoy it. He doesn't want you to feel obliged or duty-led or pressured into anything. He wants you to enjoy it. And that enjoyment is what he is at pleasure with that. He loves it when we're enjoying his creation. He loves it when we're just basically lying around, just meditating and just being and just resting in his presence. He loves that too. So there isn't a one thing fits all. Every day can be something different. Every day can be something where you do something different, but none of that is you're doing it from the wrong motive. You can just be while you're active or while you're doing nothing, you know, practically or physically. There's going to be one or the other. Just enjoy the life that you have and enjoy being who you are in the realms of it. Your destiny is who you are, and who you are will lead to you outworking who you are in everyday life as it comes along. But don't be pressurized into anything, and don't be worried about what other people think. That's up to them. You know, they got their own thoughts. You just need to be comfortable with being you. And if that's a new season of growth and whatever, that's great. And that season may change, and that season might go into being in a different way. But I would guarantee that your spirit is very active, and you're benefiting from that activity by just learning to take this time to appreciate and enjoy and celebrate life. I think that's the word, celebrate. Celebrate the life that you have and enjoy it, because God wants you to be in that place of pure bliss and rest.